finally realized that I had a real difficult time trusting, and um, I had to work through that. But there were a lot of discussions. There's a lot of dialogue between my therapist and me in the book, and then a lot of my thinking, not only about stuff that we talked about, but the stuff I wasn't ready to talk about yet. And one of the things that I've realized when people talk to me about the book is that self-talk, the things that we say to ourselves that we don't say to anybody else, is really common, especially among accomplished people who are um, who feel like they can handle everything. And so a lot of stuff goes on in their minds that they ruminate on. A lot of times you beat yourself up and you try and figure things out yourself, and you don't talk about things that you probably should talk about. And that those kind of things are toxic. When you keep things in your mind that you're beating yourself up about and you don't talk to anybody else, that's toxic. And what I said in the book is, if you if you only talk in your head and you don't talk to anybody else, the only perspective you're getting is your own. And you really need other perspectives. Other perspectives are good and helpful and will expand your thinking.
Yeah, yeah, but you can only do that if you have the courage to actually look into the closet and start like folding the clothes and tidying it up. Linda, I would like to ask you. Earlier in the conversation, you mentioned that you had an aha moment, right? Or
Uh, yeah,
what was that? Could you walk us through this the moment that you like the revelation?
about the fact that we live in community.
Oh, that was it. Okay, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
all right,
I
yeah.
so I was having a very difficult time. I kind of felt like, oh my gosh, I'm so weak that I have to pay somebody to listen to me. And I mean, I beat myself up about things like that all of the time. And I think after we had been going back and forth, and one of the things that, as I said, he did is he would make me take the lead. He said to
Mm,
me, "We will talk about anything that you want to talk about. It doesn't have to have anything to do with the rape. It just you need to make the decisions. I'm here to just talk with you about anything." And that was really hard for me because I felt like I should be talking about things that were bothering me. Sometimes when I went there, nothing was at the top of my mind. And I also worried that if I revealed what I thought about, that then people could judge me for
mm,
what was in my head. And it was a long time of back and forth and realizing that it was really helpful to talk.
yeah.
Even though I struggled with that for years, it was still helpful when I would do it. And I realized that that's how we're supposed to operate.
Yeah. Are you still in therapy?
Uh, no, I went to therapy for 5 years regularly,
Hmm.
and I will go back and see my therapist maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. I've seen him more since I wrote the book, because I went and gave him the book. I dedicated it to him.
Oh,
Um, and I had a bout of depression, probably the last couple of months, and I finally called him up and I said, it's not going away. And I don't really deal with depression anymore. So it was a big surprise. And we talked for a while, and he knows me very well now. It's been many, many years. And even then, it didn't feel like, um, like it was helping because it was just all muddy in my head. And somebody that I had been listening to had said, when I get depressed, I don't want to say anything to anybody about it. I just want to wait it out because I've got a lot of people that love me, but I don't want to be love bombed. And that's what they would do. And I kind of I felt the same way. And I finally said that to him. And he just, after like almost our whole session, just kind of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I said that, I said, I just don't want to be love bombed, because he was saying, you know what you need to do. You need to talk to people. And he looked at me and he said, well, then why don't you tell people what you do need? And that was like, it was such an, oh, okay. And I like immediately felt better that that was such a spot on and simple solution to just tell people what I needed. And I knew, I couldn't, I still struggle with bringing up an I need help kind of thing, like your girlfriend, but I did it in text to
Ex
some
ex
friends,
girlfriend ex.
ex-girlfriend. So I did it in text to some of my friends that I was going to be with. I said, I've really been struggling with depression. It will be really good to talk. And when we were together, I talked with both of them, and I've been feeling fine since then. And you know, that's a difficulty with depression, is you have this chaos in your head and you do hide. And even I, who know better, who wrote a book about how dangerous that is, still let it get me for a while,
Oof.
until I was reminded you can't do that.
How much would you say that the Linda from today is different from the Linda before therapy? You already touched on a couple of things, right? The PTSD seems to be gone, and now you also know more or less when you need to ask for help. Could you describe a little bit of the differences?
Yeah, I'm much more open now.
Mm.
I mean, I spent the first 20 years of my adult life trying to keep everything under control and under wraps. And um, that was tough. And the other thing is, I was the first, I was the first girl to be born in my mother's generation, my mom and dad's. And so I was very helpful. So I was